Hello, my friend. Welcome to practice. Today we'll just begin seated in the middle of the mat. Coming to the awareness of the breath, close your eyes and begin to inhale and exhale. Keeping it natural at first and beginning to expand the lungs at a slow pace. As if you are bringing consciousness to the body. Filling the senses to the fingertips and all the way down the legs to the toes. Inhaling more oxygen with every inhale. And exhaling more oxygen with every exhale. Grabbing onto the knees, we're going to slowly bring our shoulders into a circle over our hips. Warming up the spine. Getting your upper body ready for bends and twists. Reverse the circle if you haven't already. Loosen up the neck. Let the circular motion of the torso bring motion to the head. Coming back to stillness, we're going to come over and come into tabletop position. Reaching the left leg back. On top of the toes, we're going to lean forward and back into the wrists. Pushing off the toe tips of your left leg. Switching legs. Reverse the palms. Warming up the wrists as well. Coming back and forth. Maybe even bending the elbows. And diving your chest down a little bit. Then coming back up and back. Warming up the forearms and just stretching those out. Just getting the wrists ready, nice and warmed up to be used in a little bit here. Coming back onto the knees, bringing the wrists together. Circular motions with the fingertips facing out to your left and right. Reverse the circle. Going on to the knuckles. Making fists. We're going to roll the fist forward and come up and over. And roll them back and sit back onto the heels. Roll them over. Lean forward. Coming back onto the heels. Just continue to roll out the wrists. on the top of the knuckles. We're going to flip the back of our hand to the mat, fingertips facing the back of the mat. We're going to slowly lean back, stretching out that top of the wrist. Be gentle, you don't want to feel any pinching pain. You could always bring your weight into your knees if it's too much on your wrist. Coming back a little bit further. The wrists are very delicate, so treat them gently. Coming back onto the knees, we're going to roll our wrists out. Just clasping the fingers into one another. Just rolling the wrists out. Right on. Shake out the hands. Awesome. Come back into tabletop position. Reaching the feet back into plank. Feet hip distance apart. We're going to strengthen our core and bring our right palm to the left shoulder. And bring it down. Left palm to the right shoulder. Keep it a strong core. We're going to continue to do this at a slow pace. Keeping the consciousness intact as the body begins to work and build more heat. Remember to keep the shoulder blades out of the neck, coming down the back as the core stays strong. Just continue to warm up the arms of the core. Coming back into tabletop position, we're going to drop the knees and sit back in a child's pose. Big inhale. Just feel the heat that you just made. Your body's just getting ready for the practice to come. Breathe deep. Exhale, come back in the tabletop position. Back into plank pose. Gonna raise the hips into downward facing dog. And just move the legs so they open up and you warm yourself up and just getting ready to move deeper into this practice. Maybe raising the heels more on each side, bicycling the feet. I like to bring my knees up, feet off the mat. Just get a nice stretch down the hamstring of the either leg. Then we're going to wave forward into plank pose, lowering chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Big inhale, exhale, downward dog. Gonna raise the left leg up, shoot it through, plant the left foot, drop the right knee, come up to low lunge. The inhale. Remember to raise before bending. Plant the hands, left foot goes back, chaturanga, upward facing, or cobra. With the inhale, exhale the downward dog. We're going to bring the right foot forward, do the same, low lunge. Reach up and out, and then begin to bend. Exhale, lowering the hands. Back to plank, chaturanga, cobra, or upward facing dog. Downward dog. Take some inhales, some exhales. We're going to raise left leg up again. We're going to shoot it through, plant the left leg, come up into crescent lunge. Crescent pose. Just bringing awareness into that bend of the back. Checking in. So you're not bringing too much tension into the lower back. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Right leg goes up. Shoots through. Crescent pose on the right side. Reaching and then bending. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Exhale, downward. I'll slowly walk our hands back to our feet. Inhaling into a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees. Slowly raise up. You could definitely bend your knees quite a bit on that first raising of the body. It's just better on the back as you open up your hamstrings. We're going to lower the hands to go behind our back. Intertwine our fingers and reach the chest forward. Head tilts back. Ground down through the feet. With a nice inhale. And exhale. We're going to fold forward. Hands still stay intertwined. Exhaling it all out. Release the grip. We're going to walk our palms back out to downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch it through. Exhale, come into plank. Inhale in the plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing, inhale. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right left leg comes up. Stretch it out through the toes. Shoot it through. Come up into crescent. Really bend deep into that right leg. Open up that front right thigh. Exhale, chaturanga. Plank. Upward facing. Downward. Same on the right side. Point the right toes up and out. Shoot it through. Coming up into crescent lunge. With inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Now let's walk the hands back. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees a lot and then coming up. Reaching to the sky, pressing out of the heels. Exhale, intertwine the hands behind your back. Reach out, chest comes forward, head drops back. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to walk the hands back out into forward, downward facing dog. Now ripple forward back into plank. Hold in the plank. We're going to come back into the shoulder taps. Keep it a nice strong core. Right hand comes to left shoulder. Left hand comes to right shoulder. And we do this at a slow, steady pace. Bring awareness into the body. It's definitely more challenging to do these at a slow pace because the longer it takes for your hand to come back to the mat, the longer you have to hold. The single arm plank. Just keep going. Remember the breath. At times it's harder to breathe when you're working the core. It's definitely a time to enact that conscious breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to come into plank pose, then inhale, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, upward, exhale, downward. Left foot comes up, bring it through, come up into warrior one, right heel grounding down, exhale, warrior two. Rotating the inside of your right thigh up it and away from you towards the sky as you sit your lower back down towards the ground and bring the front of your pelvis higher towards the sky. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. Potentially dropping lower, still reaching out through the right bottom side of your foot. Reversing the warrior, inhaling, exhaling, windmill arms down to chaturanga, so the left foot steps back. Exhale and inhale, upward facing. Exhaling, downward facing. Right foot comes up, comes through, plants between the hands, coming up into warrior one. Remember the blade side of your left foot presses into the ground as with your heel. You're not on the blade, but you're definitely pressing that down into the ground as it tends to come up. Exhaling into warrior two. Remembering the rotation of the back leg up towards the sky from the inner thigh. Inhaling and exhaling. Always come back to the breath. Reverse the warrior. Exhaling, coming down. Chaturanga with the inhale. Exhale, or plank with the inhale. Chaturanga with the exhale. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. We're going to bend the knees, Hop, step forward to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, come up slowly. Reaching the hands, pressing out of the heels and the toes. Inhale, exhale, palms to the chest. We're going to step the right foot back. Wide-legged stance. His pelvis pushes forward more, comes in line with the heels. We press out through the feet. Hands come out as a T. We stretch upward first as the right hand comes down, our left hand comes up and over. We're going to tilt our head and rotate it. You don't want to feel any strain in the neck. Begin to try to look to your left side as you reach up through the crown as well as the left hand. Sliding the right palm down the leg. Ideally, there being less and less pressure on that right palm. As you stretch up and out before bending. Inhaling, coming back up. Both hands to the sky. Left palm comes down to left leg. We bend to the left side. Coming back up, hands to the sky. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to the mat. And forward, folding forward. You really want to fold from the hips. So there's an action of pressing the back of the hips up towards the sky and pushing the front of the hips back into place, so that you are able to fold forward over the hips. Just inhaling and exhaling from this place. We're inhale to flat back, and then flipping the right toes to the sky. We're going to bend the left knee, bringing our palms to the chest, maybe scooting your left foot in more. Coming to Skandasana on the left side. It becomes challenging not to hyperextend that right leg. So if need be, put your hands to the mat and put a slight bend in that right knee. We're going to come back up into a wide-legged forward fold, but keep the flat back. We're going to do the same on the left side. So bending the right knee, flipping the left toes up to the sky. Maybe bringing that right foot in a little more. Begin to bend to Skandasana on the right side. Coming back into wide-legged forward fold. And bend the knees. Come all the way up with the hands. Straighten the legs. Reach with the inhale. Exhale, palms to the chest. Turning to face the front of the mat. We're going to reach our hands up. Bending forward over that left leg. Pressing the left hip back into place. keeping the right heel up towards the sky. Begin to fold over that left leg. Bending the left knee, planting the hands, shooting the left leg back. We're going to come down, chaturanga. Inhale upward. Exhale downward. Bringing the right foot in between the hands, come up into crescent lunge. Straighten the right leg. And begin to fold forward from the hip crease. Down and over that right leg. Planting the hands, shooting the right foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale upward. Exhale downward. We bend the knees. Step, hop, jump to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands come up to the sky. Exhale, palms to the chest. Inhale, palms to the sky. Exhale, right foot goes back. Or step all the way back into crescent lunge. Dropping the knee down. We're going to twist to our left side. Keeping our spine straight. You bend some, but you don't want to start bending from the spine, but rather lengthening and then beginning to bend. Continuously press the right hip, the front of the right hip forward so it becomes in line with the left hip. We're going to bend the right knee, grab a hold of the right foot, and stretch into that right thigh, right front hip. If it's painful in the knee, maybe lean forward more. You really don't want any pain on the knee. If it really does hurt, come back into just a low lunge, the hands up. Letting the right or left knee fall out, coming onto the blade of the left foot. We're going to push our right hand to the ground and get a deeper stretch into that right quad. And that right quad's going to try to rotate inward or outward. So really trying to keep it in line with itself to get the full benefit of the stretch. If need be, you can actually rotate it to get a different sort of stretch, but that's different than what you really want to focus on at one point in time. So keeping it straight for now would be the most beneficial. Releasing the right foot. Bringing the left knee back into alignment. Where you come up, crescent lunge. Inhale, exhale, right foot meets the left. Chair pose. Pressing into the heels, lowering the hips, and leaning yourself back in space. Inhaling here. Exhaling. Exhale, we're going to straighten the legs, press through the heels, reach the arms up. Inhale, back bend, head falls back. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the left leg back. Inhale up into crescent lunge. Exhale, left knee drops as you twist to the right side. I even press in to my lower back a little bit just to make sure it's not bending too much in that place, but rather it's stabilized in order that I may grow in length first. Alright, so bending the left knee, grabbing the left foot, and reaching through the crown and twisting as well. So, I mean, what I said on the other side, it could be beneficial to stretch the left or right side of that thigh muscle, but when focusing on one side of the muscle, it becomes important to focus on that point on both sides. So the body becomes more equalized. It also helps you just bring more consciousness to what you're doing. Sometimes falling into what feels good is a good idea, but sometimes what feels good isn't actually bringing balance. So it's important to bring that balance and awareness into your practice so that your intentions are set. Letting the right knee fall out to the right side. We're going to plant the left hand. Spring into a deeper stretch of that quad. Releasing the left leg. Hands framing the right foot. Raising the left knee up. Planting the hands. Shooting the right foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Downward facing. Exhale. We're going to step forward, keeping the knees bent. Sit all the way back onto your butt. Crossing the legs in front of you. You either do fire log, which is one shin on top of the other. It's kind of difficult. I'm on a slanted downhill right now. I'm going to fall backwards. Or you could just cross the ankles in front of you. Reaching out through the top of the crown. Strengthening of our core as well in this pose. We bring back the awareness of our breath. Remembering what it was like when we first entered this practice. Contrasting it with how our body feels now. The new energy that flows. The heat that's been built. And the new expansion of our lungs. It's as if Our lungs grew throughout the practice. Switching the stack of the legs. Coming back to that breath. Now if you desire to go into Savasana, corpse pose, by all means do so. This is where I leave you. Thank you for joining me today.